Hi, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of the Colin's Punk Rock World podcast. I'm Colin. Thanks for everyone who's listened or watched the first 2 episodes. It's much appreciated. Today I am joined by Paul and Mike from B Sharp Promotions. They're 2 of my best pals in the punk rock scene. This is a bit weird talking to Mike about punk rock because we never talk about punk rock. We always talk about fantasy football.
Only fantasy football ever.
I am currently beating him, and it's magical.
Give it time.
No comment.
I think even at gigs, I can remember when Red City Radio played New Cross, and during the World Cup, I just remember being sort of stood to the side with Mike watching a penalty shootout rather than watching Red City Radio.
Yeah, I think that happens quite a lot, to be fair.
Yeah.
But that's the beauty of it. No disrespect to the bands, but
no, I think I sang "I'm a fucking juggernaut" and then continue watching.
yeah,
football.
Always disappearing to watch Villa all day, as Michael was.
Yeah, and then I just come back sad.
Okay, so does Paul and Mike want to introduce themselves and what they do and such?
Big brother goes first.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, I'm Paul, half of B Sharp, and gatekeeper of New Cross Inn, if you like. In charge of what happens there.
I'm Mike, the other half of B Sharp, for the much quieter, probably down to a fifth now, to be fair. And also in Triple Sunday.
So in an alternative universe where COVID wasn't a thing, a couple of weeks ago we all would have been in Florida at Fest watching Triple Sunday play, or Mike would have been playing, hopefully. So it's really
It would have been like an out-of-body experience for me. I would have been.
It's just really, really rubbish that didn't get to happen, along with everything else this year.
I appreciate you reminding me we should be in Florida right now the other week.
Yeah.
That was a good text to receive.
Yeah, it was a tough weekend last weekend. Just, I don't know, it's one of those things because it's I felt incredibly lucky to even be in with the opportunity to do it, and then for that to then be taken away or delayed, hopefully, if Florida still exists as a place next year, then we're hoping it's all just going to get rolled over, but who knows at this point.
For Triple Sunday, though, because you had MPF as well this year that obviously got cancelled. It would have been such a big year for you guys.
Yeah, obviously we've been hoping to get an MPF for a long time. I think Fest is another example of we would have been happy to call it a day after that and been like, well, we've overachieved again, so let's just stop. And we had plans to record, release, and I've not seen the guys since January. Such is life.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's been this whole year, I remember these guys, and then I think back, I haven't seen them since March. You guys, I probably saw you at least once a week for the last couple of years, and then I haven't seen either of you since March. But it's odd when you think about that.
Mm.
What was the last time I saw you?
Barstool Preachers.
There you go.
When they had all the little people there.
All the little people, yeah.
I think it's Sig Brew would have been the last one.
Yeah, that was the night before, wasn't it?
Yes.
So that weekend, the day before that one, I had the Popes of Chillytown and Easy Dread. They played in Bedford, so that I had a whole nice weekend of gigs before everything stopped.
Yeah.
And now I remember what it's like to sleep again, and who knows if I'll bother going back to gigs because sleeping's wonderful.
It's weird, isn't it? It's I've got all the time in the world.
Yeah, for all the bad things, it has been a nice break because I've not really stopped for 20 years in terms of gigs. So it's been nice to step back and realise that, I still want to do it for another 20 years. That's one thing I've realised.
I found I've been healthier this year as well, which is kind of ironic given there's a virus knocking around. But because I haven't been going out and getting home at 1 in the morning and starting work at 8, then doing it all again the next day, I'm just not as run down, and I actually feel healthy.
You have more time to sleep and eat better.
Yeah.
And actually making a point to do some exercise.
Wow.
Whereas even just traveling to and from work, that's your 10,000 steps for the day.
Yeah.
And now it's I'm amazed if I could get above 4,000.
As soon as the pubs opened again, that was the end of exercise for me. But I did do my 100 days sober at the beginning of the original lockdown. So That's quite an achievement.
Well done.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Cheers, Colin. I thought you'd
Well
be
done.
proud of me for that.
So I don't think I've hung out with you and you've been sober before, so because we only ever hang out at gigs.
This is true.
So what Paul left out there is something he started during this lockdown, or like the sort of reopening of the first lockdown. He started his own podcast with Eddie from New Cross. If he wants to talk about that and promote that while we're here.
I mean, not really, because it's pretty tragic, isn't it? But yeah, like Eddie come up. It was when we because New Crossing opened as a bar, and it's not really a place people just go for a drink. So we needed events, but we didn't have bands at the time. So his original idea was to do a live podcast, because he promoted one before with, do you know Jasta from Hatebreed?
Yeah.
He's got a podcast, and after a European festival, couldn't tell you which one, Jasta, someone from Fear Factory, someone from Crowbar wanted to do a live podcast at New Cross Inn in front of an audience, etc. And Eddie promoted it, and I think that's mostly where the idea come from. But I said, let's not go into a live one. It's insane. As a band, you don't do a gig before you've released a demo. So we did a couple of recorded ones, and then did the live one the other week. And yeah, it's become a bit of a thing where we get pretty trashed. So the quality of the content is not really up to scratch, but it's a lot of fun. People seem to like it.
Yeah, it comes across as a lot of fun. Like, I recorded a podcast this morning with Sarah, which is likely to come out after this one. So we're ruining the timeline of life, mentioning this. But like I was saying to her, like it's been quite nice, like with like her podcast and hearing your podcast, like just hearing my friends talking, because we haven't been able to have that.
Yes, Sarah texted me when she first listened to our one, and she was like, "Oh my god, I'm hearing your voice for the first time since January. This is amazing."
It's just the things we've had to do now to communicate with friends, rather than just phoning someone. Just you record a podcast with them.
Yeah,
that's what you do now.
Imagine if this happened 10, 15 years ago.
Well, like that's what I was saying at the whole start of it. Like I'm seeing people having meltdowns about not being able to do stuff when like you've got so many different streaming services on the telly. Like the internet exists. There's no excuse to ever really be bored. Like there's always something.
I totally agree. Like I can't be bored when I've got Netflix and Spotify.
Yeah.
Like, and especially because I've been working the whole way through as well. I suppose a bit different if you haven't got anything else to do other than that. There's only so much Netflix you can watch, I assume.
Probably like 70% complete now.
Yes.
I mean, I lost my job in March. What can I say?
Yeah.
But I thought you spent all your time just doing your fantasy team.
Well, judging by my points total, obviously not.
Yeah, and you tried to sabotage me with bloody Konza.
Top of the league.
That was you sabotaging my real life team.
That's not as important. Fantasy football's much more important. We shouldn't go on about fantasy football too much because it's probably
it's quite a niche market.
Yeah, I mean, this is a punk rock podcast. It's already quite niche. So, our punks who want to play fantasy football.
It's a shame that the punk rock football club got booted out of the FA Cup the other day.
Yeah,
as in FC United of Manchester.
I saw that was on the telly as well. I saw like the TNS guys mentioning it.
Yeah, no, that's where I saw it. I was like, I'll give it a watch, and then it got embarrassing. Bless them.
Oh, well, it's the start.
I mean, not embarrassing. They were up against, was it Doncaster?
Yeah, they're a proper professional,
a proper team,
league team.
Real
yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Right, so we've got like a list of things we're going to work through on in this podcast. I've got a couple of quizzes lined up because I thought they'd be fun. Like the first one, I kind of ripped off Never Mind the Buzzcocks with both of these quizzes. The first one is a lineup round. It's not like the traditional lineup round because I don't have a load of people behind me walking in and say, who's in this band? But we've found some old help from Craig Duran, C Rage. We've drawn up some old gig posters from classic New Cross shows. And we're going to start with the opening act and work upwards to see if Mike and Paul can guess who the headliner was. They're going to work together on this one because they think it might be hard. So,
I'm not cheating. I haven't got the diary in front of me or anything. I'm going in blind.
All right, let's go. Okay, the first one, I'll tell you the year it was to help you a bit. It was 2018, so not that long ago. Okay, the first act was Dan Peters. And I don't feel like he's done many for you in the last couple of years.
He hasn't.
I want to take a guess. No, it's a bit too recent.
I don't know, do I give you lives? I don't know.
Let's do another one because Dan's done a fair few for us.
Okay, the next one is Filthy Militia.
That'll be. I've got it.
Wait. Okay.
I think I know. I think it's the Call Me Malcolm album launch for Broken.
Yeah, correct. Well done. No, the rest of that lineup was the Pisticables, Millie Manders and the Shut Up, and King Punch playing an after party.
Wow, what a lineup!
Yeah, I was supposed to go to that. I was sick and I was so upset.
I think that was a gig when we realised that Call Me Malcolm had something special going on because the album got released that morning, and by the evening, everyone knew every word, and they ended up doing like 250 people like through the door.
Wow,
which is unprecedented at the time.
What were they getting beforehand? Do you remember?
50 quid.
Yeah, 50 quid in the promise. Like in terms of crowd draw,
yeah,
I believe this was their first headline at New Crossing.
Oh.
Because when we find a new band, they've been going a decade, but they're still new to us, we rinse them on as many support slots as humanly possible. And then when it's time, the same thing happened with another gig that I'm not going to mention in case it comes up in this. But yeah, it's like, that's when you realise they're not a support band ever again.
I think with them, it's just an example of where I don't think they were particularly confident of wanting to headline the Inn.
I don't think they were even remotely bothered, to be honest.
But then having the album, it was a bit of an excuse, and they could persuade a few more people that would travel that wouldn't normally. I bet it turns out they just absolutely didn't need to worry for a second because...
Pretty sure that was a $5 advance as well.
Oh, I've got it on the... Hang on, let me check. Yeah, £5 entry, yeah.
New Year's resolution for next year, stop doing £5 gigs. It's insane. Bands are worth more and also deserve more money.
Yeah.
Okay, well, back to Call Me Malcolm quick. I remember, I think the first time I saw them play Broken was when they played Level Up that year, when they were on before Random Hand.
Yeah.
And they just, like, Random Hand are one of the best live bands I've probably ever seen, but Call Me Malcolm blew them away that night.
I think I saw Tilston watching Malcolm being like, shit, we've got to follow someone.
Yeah.
We've got to follow this. And it's like, Random Hand have never got anything to be worried about until Call Me Malcolm smashed them in the face.
That was incredible. Right, we'll go. No, so you got that one right. You're 1 out of, I think I got 5. So well done.
Yes.
Good job. You said you were going to get 0. Okay,
I don't actually
know what
it's 0 for the next one.
I'm not sure what year this one is because you didn't put the year on the poster.
Is that a Craig poster?
This is a you poster. Or whoever does them.
Or maybe what year?
Or you didn't say.
We don't know.
I think it's last year.
That's the whole point.
I think it's last year because you've got your newer logo on it.
All right, this will be a Frosty poster then.
So, right, the opening act was Paul the Kid.
All right. I think we're going to need another band because I'll put him on a few things.
Okay, next one, Bald Head and the Dreads.
Yeah, I've got it. Mike, any ideas?
You're like Rain Man.
I'm a bit weird when it comes to gigs and dates.
Thing is,
going back 20 years.
I remember this because I remember watching Paul the Kid because it's always got at least one little technical issue.
Yeah, bless him.
Being a one-man band and all.
Yeah, the laptop and that.
I guess, or shall I give another one?
No, go for it.
Okay, Eat the Evidence.
That confirms my...
I don't have a clue. I don't have the brain for this.
The headliners are Australian.
Correct.
Australian. Summers is their European babysitter.
The Bennies.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
I was like, we've been never put on the decline.
Yeah.
There are no other Australian bands. But yeah, the Bennies always a party.
It was main support, King Punch.
No, they weren't on it. Well, according to this poster, just Eat the Evidence, Bald Head, and Pull the Kid. I think
King Punch must have done the previous Benny's gig.
Yeah, I think Eat the Evidence were main support and were fantastic, as they always are.
Yeah. What a show again.
Yeah, you put on some all right lineups.
I guarantee that King Punch were asked to play that though. Like,
I know they played the first Benny's show at New Cross Inn because Liam in particular is a massive fan. We like to give slots to people if they like the band rather than being able to sell tickets or whatever. Yeah. Oh, you like them? You're on.
Yeah. Our allies in cinema and Pew Pew Pew.
Exactly that.
Yeah. Well, Mark's the reason Pew 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 played.
Yeah.
Yeah, he certainly did the legwork on that one.
I remember when Mark broke the New Cross Inn singing with Prue. Good times.
Yeah.
Right, the next one then. This is an older one. This is from... You haven't put the... Oh, Craig, why didn't you put the year on this? This is from a... Oh, yeah, he has. I'm sorry. I forgive him. 2016, so it's a bit older. So you got Fat Randall opening.
Oh.
Yeah, I know.
How do you do this? This is insane. I quit.
I got a good memory. 2016. So I know the headliner.
Okay, are we going to change the quiz? Paul, complete the lineup.
Yeah. No, I'm trying to. Go on. For Mike's benefit, he might get it on the second band.
Cereal Box Heroes.
AKA at this particular show, the Rider Stealers. There's an incident with a bottle of whiskey.
That's really annoying because I remember I talked to Connor about that all the time and his whiskey stealing antics.
Okay. Do you want to know the next band? While Mike's still trying to guess.
Go on.
Triple Sunday.
Oh shit! That's that's just embarrassing now, isn't it? Thing is, I remember this. I remember playing it,
and it was in August, so there weren't a football match on, so you don't have that excuse for going to watch other stuff.
Were we main support?
No, there's another support. Well, there's a band above you ahead of the poster. I don't know what order you played.
2016. Well, Burnt Tapes on that one as well.
No.
Then I've got no idea.
It may well have been a ska band.
No, it was Drop This.
Their last show. This was.
Oh.
No, because they headlined their last show.
Nah, they did the all day of the album launch. This was their actual last show, and they were main support because it was their last show, even though I probably would have put you above them. Headliner American.
They are. This was their third year in a row playing New Cross, if that helps.
Oh, so 40. That's what the last two, I was just like, I think it's all 40. And then this one, I was like, nah, not a chance.
Oh. Okay, I think you spoke about this one on your Upsharp podcast. And I have literally no idea how to pronounce the second names, the second band's name. But the opener, was this 2014? The opener was Triple Sunday.
Wait, what year was this? 2014?
14.
So this was early Triple Sunday.
Chewing on Tinfoil.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that was our first show.
Yeah. With X-Sup. How do you pronounce that? Zup. Okay. Best mates who crack cases. Cool.
Leo's old band.
Oh,
Leo Harvey.
Current Just Say No.
Yeah. Call Me Malcolm. Rivalries.
Yes.
Incredible band.
T. Allen or Tyrannosaurus Allen. And then Chewy. I got one more.
Lineup.
One more, but that's on my phone. Bear with. This is a more recent one. 2018. You didn't even have a poster for this one with the band names on, so I had to write it on my phone.
Wow.
But I thought I'd include it because it's got some cool bands on it. It's September 2018, so fairly recent-ish. So the opener was Love Songs.
Ooh. So it would have been a sad gig.
Would have been a Canadian headliner, I suspect.
How? Have you?
Hey man, I spend 50 hours a week staring at the New Cross In Diary, past and present. I often go backwards to look at what bands would be suitable for a similar band kind of thing. So, yeah.
I thought you just messaged me.
Over to you, Mike.
Okay, so love songs. Next one.
Finton Stack. Oh shit, time's running out.
Oh, now I've got so much pressure.
So now you've got 10 minutes to get this right before we have to start recording again.
Wait, Canadian headliner. Not Pew.
No.
Canadian headliner. Come on, one more. Keep it coming.
Got to be Tapes.
Yeah, Burnt Tapes.
Oh, is it Pentacle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done.
Yes. I didn't know they were Canadian, but I guessed it from the lineup, so I'm going to take that as a win.
Well done.
Genuinely didn't know they were Canadian. Fair play.
They're a great band. Like, have they only played New Cross once? I felt like I've seen them more. But
Yeah, they only played that one for me. I remember thinking it wasn't the worst gig that I've done for like a relatively unknown in the UK band, but they definitely deserved a bigger crowd.
Yeah.
I remember thinking it was all right and everyone had a lovely time, but it could have gone better. But it might have been a Sunday as well.
I think it was like a Tuesday or something like that.
It was yeah.
Which is obviously not the best.
I think Pentacle also played at New River Studios in Manor House on a different tour, and I don't know if that was before or after.
Oh, that was, I think, when they played. It must have been last year when they played MPF.
Yeah, it was. It was on the MPF tour. Yeah,
I'm talking way back, way before that Pentacle came over, and I know that because my girlfriend, we weren't together at the time, and I said that I was going to that gig. Then I didn't go to that gig, and 2 years later, I think she's still annoyed at me.
Oh, that's not very nice.
Yeah, I think it was raining or something. I don't know.
I went to. It was when Hassan was putting on shows, and Junior Battles played there. I remember that being such a.
That was a
pain in the bum place to get to.
I was because that was Junior Battles, and the Run Up played that.
Yeah.
And half of Junior Battles got stuck in Germany or something. I think their van broke down. One of them had to fly over. It was just a complete mess.
So it's going to be in Camberwell originally, wasn't it?
I think it was supposed to be Camberwell, and then they cancelled all their gigs.
So I remember when Hassan was doing, what was his promotion company called? The short-lived...
Gold
Soul Theory.
That's the one.
Yeah.
I think I ended up doing door that night at that gig because he had to go to work. And then he gave me the money box, and I was sat there, had my little pen ready to go. 20 minutes later, he messaged me being like, "Oh, I've got the key for the money box in my pocket." And I think the fact that I didn't need the money box for 20 minutes proves how busy that show was. It was, yeah.
It was a good one, though, from what I remember. I remember being horribly sick, but had a nice time.
Wait, I'm a liar. That was a different gig completely.
Oh.
Forget me.
I had a nice time at a gig.
Yeah. We all have good times at gigs when it was allowed.
Yeah, those were the days.
I'd even go to New River Studios for a gig right now, even though it's a massive ball late to get to.
Great
for anyone that doesn't live in Tottenham Hale.
At least you don't have to come from another town.
Well, when you move to Southeast London, all will be right in the world.
There's no point anymore. There's no gigs on.
Yeah, that's true.
I might as well have cheaper rent here.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, fair play.
We'll come to Bedford.
Yeah, everyone should come to Bedford and put gigs on here so I don't have to leave. Well, I quite like leaving Bedford, to be fair. But right, our recording's going to stop. So if we wrap this up and pretend like we're doing a segue and not that Zoom is being a pain.
Tune in for part 2.
Tune in for part 2 in hopefully a couple of seconds if I've worked out how to do editing.
Now a word from our sponsor.
Yeah. Read Colin's Punk Rock World. Buy albums from CPRW Records. Visit B Sharp and listen to Triple Sunday.
Thank you.
There we go. I think that's everything. We'll plug again at the end. Hang on. Right, welcome back to part 2 of the Colin's Punk Rock World podcast. Hopefully this won't time out and we can continue on. So the main sort of meat and gravy of this podcast was a Paul's suggestion. So I'll let him explain what it is, like what the subject is?
Well, it came quite late in the day because we planned this beforehand. And last Wednesday, I went to New Cross to see Jamie Lenman as the last gig before lockdown, and got chatting to Jordan about something that I've stolen fully from High Fidelity. If you've ever read the book / watched the film.
Before we go further, for those who don't know, who's Jordan?
Jordan from work.
Oh yeah.
Me and Mike worked with him before, and everyone called him Jordan from work, so I'm continuing that now. I work with him again. Jordan is another New Cross Inn promoter who plays in Skiv, and he's very good at both those things.
I mean, I am assuming people who don't listen to New Cross are likely to listen to this, and it's probably not the case. But
We're all
see.
friends here.
But yeah, I mean, as you know, Colin, because I've done one for you, I love a top 5 list or a top 10 list of whatever subject. And before Lemon started, I spoke to Jordan and also Theo that works with us, saying, what are the best track one side ones of all time? Obviously, speaking like I'm from the 70s, but vinyl listeners would obviously understand the whole side aspect. And so the obvious ones are like Smells Like Teen Spirit off Nevermind, possibly the greatest track one of all time, or Holidays in the Sun from Nevermind, Bollocks, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, we're going to do a punk rock version, aren't we?
oh yeah, as I say, I don't know any albums that aren't punk rock because I don't waste time with that. But
Exactly. Life is too short.
How are we going to do this? We'll just all throw out a suggestion and then at the end try and decide like a top 5 ultimate track ones.
I think we should do one at a time. We'll go around in a circle.
Oh,
A virtual circle.
Are we all in the same screen on the screen though? Will it confuse?
I have my concentration face on.
Okay, shall I go first?
Go.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, I've got to get my list up because organisation. Right, so I've gone for I Don't Want to Be an Arsehole Anymore from the Menzingers, from whatever album that's on, Rented World.
Rented World.
Yeah.
Fun fact, that was number 1 on my list, so
Ah,
I
Hey!
agree. I love how we didn't do any. To be fair, I saw Paul's ridiculous 40 track
I gave you my 40 shortlist.
and I adjusted a couple of mine, but there wasn't that many overlaps. But I love it. The first one is I completely concur because
It must be a great track one side one in that case.
it is.
I think it is.
It was that Wednesday night when you suggested this. I got no sleep that night because just in my head, that's all I could think about.
I do so many pointless little projects like that and lose a lot of sleep over it for no reason other than my own. Like, I just like it.
Okay, so
go on, Mike. What's yours that isn't the Menzingers?
should I write these down?
You probably should. Yeah, we're gonna make a playlist. We'll make a playlist and stick it up on the socials.
Yeah,
I think we should get a playlist. What I've tried to do is there's a few on here that are definitely emotional choices, just through like bands that we've either put on or that we've played with.
That's the thing.
And
it's like,
I'm sure you feel the same.
Because like, do you go for what is generally considered great songs? Do you go for personal things? Do you go through gateway things, or just bangers?
I went for my favourites because obviously it's music; it's all subjective anyway. So
Like, we'll get
there
to
isn't
it.
a right answer.
My ones are ones that punched me in the face. I've gone for the ones that just come out the blocks and just smash you.
So on that basis, I've got track 1 of Crazy Arms, Born to Ruin.
Yes.
Asphalt.
Excellent shout. Excellent
To me,
shout.
that for me personally was a bit of a turning point with B Sharp because we put on Crazy Arm, and not the biggest band in the world, but it was definitely a step up, and that entire album just absolutely slays.
Because it was on the tour for that album, wasn't it?
It was the Born to Ruin tour, and it goes Asphalt and then into Still to Keep, which is a better song, but it's just something about that track 1 just sets it up, and that bass tone. If you could slice that up and sell it, it would be worth its weight in gold.
Crazy Arm are doing a Ollie Fest next year, aren't they? A Till the Wheels Fest.
Until the Wheels Fest, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be our last gig until Florida. He says, anticipating Florida to be a massive hole in the ground.
Florida.
Who's next? You're next, Paul?
All right. I'll do it in the order I've written it down, which is alphabetical, almost.
Wow.
I'm going to go for Have Not's Proud off of the album Proud.
Oh, that's a good shout. I didn't think of
Great
that one.
shout.
Purely because it comes storming out the blocks and it like, I don't know what that bass player is up to in some parts. And I never listened to, again, bass. I don't really listen to bass lines, but it's incredible. And everything about that song to me is perfect. Mike, you will remember when we supported them in Alton.
Oh, do I?
With Random Hand. And I think that was another example of a band that we know very little about, we played with, and we used all our merch money to buy all of their merch. And then put that CD in it.
Yeah, it just didn't leave after we started listening to that.
No, like, it's a perfect album and probably one, obviously my top 5 first tracks of all time.
That gig in Alton, I believe we travelled down in 2 cars. This is in our old band many years ago. What year was that? That must have been...
I think it's like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, it was a long old time ago. So
It must have been
loads of
12.
traffic. I still can't... I've been growing this beard since. And yeah, we got stuck in loads of traffic, and then it was like we rushed in, and then I think one song in, the power went.
The power cut during our set, yeah.
We just stood around on stage for 10 minutes, then got off stage, the power came back on, and they were just like, oh yeah, you got 1 song left. And so I think we played 2.5 songs, and we were just like, okay. Like, we were fine with it. As a band, we were fine, but the people that we dragged along with us were fuming, like, on our behalf. And it's like, what are you talking about? We got free entry to this gig. It's up to you.
We're going to get really drunk and watch Random Hand and the Have-Nots. Like, this is why we started the band in the first place.
I remember that album Proud. I spent way too much money shipping that in.
And now Pook's got it in his distro.
And now Pook's got it, yeah.
Yeah.
I was so annoyed.
Have you got what variant you got?
I don't know. I have a lot of records.
So I know Pook's doing a very nice looking olive green that I do intend to buy.
When are you buying a record player?
Never.
Yeah. Such a
records
hipster.
up for playing.
Such a hipster.
Display purposes only. Go on, Colin, what's your next one?
Okay, my next one, I haven't put these in any order, but I'm going to go with, this is tough. We'll go with Twat Out of Hell from Lightyear, from Chris's Gentleman's, what's it?
Hairdressers and Railway Bookshop.
Yeah.
I couldn't decide for my list between that and, was it Tread Lightly? Or was it 24/4?
Oh, tread lightly, I think.
Yeah, I couldn't decide, so neither made the cut because it was annoying me. But yeah, Twat Out of Hell was a fucking rager.
Yeah, that's probably, like, that whole album of everything Lightyear have released is just, I love, but I think that album starts, that was probably the first Lightyear song I heard as well, I'd imagine. Because I think I just literally...
I think it was for me as well, yeah.
The album, because, like, remember when CDs were a thing and you'd get the booklets and you say the bands thanking other bands, and what Lightyear were thanked a lot. So I thought, I was in like a Virgin Megastore, so I picked it up and brought it home and heard Twat Out of Hell. I was like, oh yeah, I like this.
Yeah,
very solid shout.
Can't knock it.
I can add to the list. We're good at this.
Yeah, it's passion free. Is it me now?
Yep.
Okay, so Menzingers has gone, Crazy Arms gone. I'm going to go with Streetlight Manifesto.
It was a matter of time. It was a matter of time.
And We Will Fall Together, because it's a better album than Keys Be Nights. I don't care what anyone says. And for me, it just sets... It's probably the only song over 3 minutes that I like. So it's got to go in there. And
Did Triple Sunday have any songs over 3 minutes?
If we do, I give up. Like, not with me in. But no, like, we hover around the 2:30 mark. That's an acceptable length for a song. But yeah, Streetlight do something special, and it's just the perfect track one for what that album does. The rest of the album is just different versions of that first song, and I think it's perfect.
I mean, for me, that's probably not even my favourite Streetlight album. So I don't think I really got into that as much as Everything Goes Numb. But I feel like that's probably one of the only a couple of tracks I remember off that album. So,
like, weirdly, like that Streetlight album, I bought that on CD in a Virgin Megastore. But this was like way after people were buying CDs, and I bought it. It was one of those situations where you buy it because it's there.
Yeah.
Like, I have no interest in CDs. Like, I've got it all downloaded and stuff. But like, I bought it because it was there, and it's just like, I'm having this because I reckon I'm the only. I reckon they had one copy in that Virgin Megastore. I was like, I'm having this.
Was it Blue Water?
It was Blue Water. Blue Water. Yeah.
Blue Water.
Blue Water.
I haven't written that down. What was it? We Will Fall Together.
We Will Fall Together from the album Somewhere in Between.
Which, to be fair, Catch-22 songs aside, that is probably the only Streetlight song that I really, really like and would listen to out of choice. Because, as you know, Michael, that's the one thing that separates us is our 9-year age gap, and Streetlight being a huge band for you, and me being like, who are these?
Oh, Catch-22 were better.
They're a poor man's RX Bandits.
Oh, wow, yeah.
We won't get into that. We're in enough Scar groups between us to know about the Streetlight aren't Scar arguments.
They are.
They're quite obviously a Scar band, yes.
Just with ridiculousness involved.
But to be fair, because I think I was kind of biased against Streetlight for whatever reasons, probably dumb reasons. But because of them, I was like, I really got into Stand Out Riot because Stand Out Riot were, to me, a better version of Streetlight. Like, very similar. But I prefer Stand Out Riot.
Yeah, I love Stand Out Riot. Did you go see them? You must have done. When they played MPF last year?
Oh, I was all over it, mate. All over it.
Like, did they go on before the Bennies or after the Bennies? I can't remember.
I think they played, like... Did they do an after show of sorts with... Catchy Kebabs?
No, that was Harajan.
Harajan, yes, Harajan.
Well, I remember I missed most of that because Craig was very sick because it was his birthday and alcohol happened. But it was a fun time. But no, I think they played after the Bennies. And I remember, obviously, Bennies are one of the best live bands around, just for a party. But I think Stand Out Riot blew them away. And how many bands blow the Bennies away?
Yeah, it's a hard act to follow.
Especially in Manchester.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Paul. What's your next number one?
All right, I'm going one from the vaults. I think this album came out in '99. Living End, Prisoner of Society.
Oh yeah, that's such a good song.
Because I mean, one of the best bands to ever use a double bass, in my opinion. I'm not a big Psychobilly fan, but Prisoner of Society is just a song that I have yet to get bored of in 21 years of listening to it, and it's got everything that I need in a punk rock song. So nice and simple one for you there.
Yeah, I just think I love that song, and I haven't heard it for years, and I just really want to listen to that song. I'll wait.
I listen to them a fair amount, like not so much the new stuff, but the first 3 or 4 albums are just great. I wish they'd play over it more.
Have you seen them live?
A few times, yeah.
They're good.
As you'd imagine, incredible, like super tight, so much noise for a 3-piece. Yeah, I saw them at the Astoria in 2004, which was the first time. They did the Coco around 2009, and they've done like a couple of Readings and whatnot.
They did Green Day, Hyde Park.
They did Green Day, Hyde Park.
That was the only time that I saw them. They did like the smaller stage.
Yeah,
they played just after Swimmers, which no one's allowed to talk about anymore because
I remember we wanted to see the last Living End song, but we could hear Rancid just starting on the main stage. Yeah. So we were like, "Oh, what do we do? What do we do?"
It's like, do we go get our Pizza Express pizza, or do we see
Hyde Park? But I'll see them. Wacky lineup, but they played with it's Brixton Academy 2007. Less Than Jake headlined with Dropkicks and Living End. Like, what a show!
That's a random lineup.
That's a great time.
I think that's like a £17 ticket as well, like money well spent for a triple headliner, basically.
I think for a Dropkick Murphys now, you're probably looking closer to 40, aren't you?
Yeah, like they're Addy Paddy headliners, isn't they?
Yeah, they got that Gangs of New York crowd now.
I bought a ticket. I bought a ticket to see Dropkicks at the Underworld in 2001, which is about £8, and then I lost my wallet with a ticket in it, and obviously never got to the gig because it sold out in a day. I was just right place, right. So I bought my ticket from the World's End. I was just in Camden, being like, "What tickets you got on sale?" So they showed me their little book behind the bar. And I was like, oh, I'll take this real big fish ticket, and I'll take this Dropkicks ticket, less than £20 for the pair, and then I lost my wallet with both tickets in. So there's a little anecdote for you.
That's ridiculous.
That was old school, like Dropkick Murphys before they pretended they're more a folk band rather than a punk band. And before when they were good. But we digress, because I don't like to be negative on this.
Oh, I've just thought of a Dropkicks track 1 as well. Oh well, too late. Continue, Colin.
One of us have it. I don't, but
oh yeah, I don't. Is it me next?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'm going to go with a band that have gone into every top 5 list that I've ever made in my life, which is We Are the Union. MTV is over if you want it, from Who We Are. That song is the reason why. Oh, yeah, tell me about it. It was like, to be fair, this is just after bands stopped having like paragraph long names for songs, like your whole Fall Out Boy and Panic nonsense. But yeah, that band, to be fair, is the reason why Triple Sunday exists. And that album, to me, the first song is one of the best opening songs, but it's also got one of the best last songs. Like the outro, a song called Alcor. For me, it's the perfect song. It's got everything. If you want ska and a breakdown and gang vocals, it's got everything. It's the perfect song. But track 1 is also very good. So that's why it's in my list.
Oh, I don't know. That takes if you think Alcor is the perfect song and that's not track number 1, could we include that?
Oh no, but the opening track of MTV Is Over If You Want It is just as good.
Oh, so they're both outro. I feel like you're backpedaling now.
It's the perfect bookends of an album. Okay. And yeah, that band is the reason Triple Sunday everything. It's the reason why we tried really hard to have a trombone player and then just gave up and became a real band instead. Yeah. And also, after you lose one trombone player, the effort of going to finding another one is just, it's okay. We'll stick to the traditional. But yeah, that song and that album for me is up there with the best.
It's a good day for you when our old outfit supported them.
I didn't know who they were when we supported them.
I thought you did. Oh
no, I think they supported Less Than Jake.
Yeah.
And then they stayed on to do like a B tour, and played.
We blagged our way onto the Sheerness date.
Yeah, because T. Allen were main support, played to 70 or so people, and then We Are the Union played to us.
10.
Yeah, it was insane.
I think that tour then must have been like my first ever gig was like Less Than Jake and We Are the Union and Zebra.
It was that tour.
Which was recently 10 years ago, like had the anniversary. It was all very like, oh yeah, gigs.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So,
10 years ago. Blimey.
We're getting old, guys.
You're not 30 yet, are you?
No, but I feel it.
Okay, I'll go with one because we did miss me out. I realized.
What you got?
I've got.
Oh, sorry, mate.
It's fine. It's fine.
I got too excited. to talk about.
I'm going to go with a Catch-22 song. I mean, we're assuming if a song is an intro, then track 2 counts as the first song. I mean, this one
is one of my talking points. Yeah.
Like the intro kind of leads in perfectly to the first song. It's like pointing the blame. Or Catch-22, because that intro and then that song, I think sets up the album brilliantly.
Fair, like, it's just no street like that, is it?
Oh no, because it's not Thomas.
No, that's true. Yeah, so it's not as good.
It's. Oh, I mean, I like both bands. I don't see. I'm not in the. This band's better than this band.
I'm not until Paul starts talking, and then I get very defensive. Like, I've got nothing against Catch-22 whatsoever, and they just don't hit my radar. It's really weird. Like, it's for me. There's
a lot of bands like that in there, where it's like they're just not on the radar. Like I've got thousands of bands that everyone loves, and I'm like, who?
But it's like what was said on is it episode 1 where you're talking about propaganda?
Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was saying that it's just like they've just. Oh, was it you? It was just like never got into propaganda.
Never got into propaganda.
Yeah,
I've tried, and it's like, nah, sorry. Like I'm not going to say it's wrong or it's bad, but yeah,
I'm sure they are very good. Lots of people do like them, but so there can't be a bad band. It's just not for me.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah,
there's a lot.
Catch-22 is to me.
It was like at that MPF when you had Propaganda, Iron Sheik, and I think Culture Shock all playing at the same time, and like all the rooms had reached capacity, and we was all, I don't know if you was there with us, Mike, but we was all dilly-dallying being like, who should we watch? And I think we eventually was like, let's go see Propaganda because it's like a moment in the UK punk scene that this is even happening. And then we couldn't get into the room, so we just went to Font Bar and just smashed those £2 cocktails until the after show.
I think that I didn't even go to Font. I think I went straight to Breadshed, the end of Culture Shock, just to make sure that we didn't miss Chewy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we were in Iron Sheiks, which was at Rebellion. So probably the two furthest venues apart. So Iron Sheik finished, and we like legged it all the way to Breadshed. But this was, I don't know if you know this, like, because the Tuts were on before Iron Sheik, and it was quite crowded then, and Emma passed out like during the Tuts.
Really?
Like she was all right. I just got some air and some water, but then so we got through Iron Sheik. Then like poor Emma.
Was that in Gorilla?
No, this was Rebellion.
Oh, Rebellion.
So like right miles away.
Yeah.
But so poor Emma, like she was so wanted to see Chewy, but she was like just passed out. So, but she near enough ran to Breadshed from Rebellion just for Chewy after she'd passed out like an hour ago.
The things you do for Chewy.
The lady's a trooper.
Yeah.
And she stayed right to the end because Uniforms were the very last band on that after party, and she stayed all the way through to that as well.
Good time. Like I think on that MPF, I missed Random Hand on the Friday at Breadshed because I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
And I was like, I am not missing Chewy. Like, so I was just like, I'd like to see Iron Sheik. I'd like to see Propaganda. I'm going to go watch Culture Shock just to make sure I do see Chewy. And they were.
And then the rest of us met you like 5 minutes before stage time, just be like, "What's up?"
You just wandered in, being like,
just twatted on cocktails.
It's like, oh yeah, they're only £2 in Font Bar. I was like, oh, cheers, nice one, good to know. And then everyone got pink eye.
Yeah, that year.
That was that year.
I didn't get pink eye.
God.
So am I allowed to add Point the Blame to this list I'm writing?
Yeah, of course.
I am going to because this is my podcast.
I'll give it one more try.
Well, back on like Streetlight and Catch-22, which version of Keysby Nights do you prefer?
The one that sounds like it's recorded well.
I think I don't like that one.
Okay.
I can't. I will be on Team Catch-22, but I can't get along with that snare sound. The snare sounds tragic. Like it's so bad. But also that's part of the charm.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
The songs are great. Like I've listened to countless badly recorded demos, but if the song's good, the production doesn't really matter because are you good live? That's all I care about. Because quite often a super polished album doesn't translate well to the stage, but a awful practice room demo means that they're going to be the best live band you'll ever see. So production, I don't care.
See, I was just talking to Sarah, like in the future.
Yeah, in a future podcast.
We were talking about like albums of the year, like this year. I was sort of saying, I don't feel like I've connected with as many albums this year because I haven't been able to see these bands live.
Yeah,
that's why I've listened to very little music this year. I'll tell you, I've listened to I think 4 new albums this year. Call Me Malcolm, Aerial Salad, Freedom Is Down, Millie Manders. That's it. Right, done.
I think that's one more than what I've listened to. So
yeah.
I've listened to a few.
Not that we're digressing too much.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Good point.
To get back on track. Very rare for me because everyone thinks that I am Mr. Ska, but I listen to fuck all ska. If I've got, I really don't. But I'm going to put a ska song in anyway, which is "What If" from RX Bandits, off of the first album, whatever it's called, halfway between Here and There, I think it is.
Is that pre-name change?
Nah, that's so Pharmaceutical Bandits did an album, sorry. This is the first RX Bandits album. And What If just starts with the bass just going, again, bass. Never listened to it, but maybe I should. Just the boo, bubble, bubble, bubble. And then, you know, that one. But the thing that clinches it for me is when Matt Embry gets all proper screamy towards the end, and it's like I like it when a band gets screamy. Alkaline Triod's best songs is when Skipper gets a bit screamy. And yeah, like I heard What If on a mixtape I was given when I was maybe 15, and it was the first track on that. And this is probably the only song on there that I'd call remotely life-changing, because I heard it and I was like, this is fucking incredible. What is going on? And no one had heard of them at the time at all over it. So What If Our Expandits? Put it on the list, Colin. It's a list. Banger. It's a banger.
Our Expandits are a crazy one, because like their sound is just, from first album to most recent, is probably the biggest change in sound of any band I could name. Like, it's just completely different. It's gone full weird prog nonsense.
Like
and
third wave pop ska.
Like, just beyond that, like the weird time signatures, and like, for me, it's a struggle to listen to, but there's still some bangers in there. But
that's like, I mean, you can tell that JB Conspiracy are big R Expandits fans, because they've got their weirdness as well. Like, again, you wouldn't call them a ska punk band, but they kind of are, but not really.
But yeah.
And I have regular arguments with like Luke from Malcolm and all the freebies down. They're like, the prog stuff is awesome. And I'm like, when they lost the brass, I wasn't interested anymore.
Status is the best album, to be fair.
Progress.
Progress. Status is on Progress. Yeah. But,
which was played, Status, a song was played at our sister's wedding.
It was.
That was a fun time.
Runs in the family.
Yeah. Not a big ska fan is Lucy, but yeah, she still banged on an R Expandits song on her wedding dinner playlist.
Needs must.
Very kind of her.
It's just to make us stay.
Yeah. Because we're just like, where's the next beer coming from?
Right, shall I go?
Yeah, get back on order.
Cool. All right, I'll go with the Gold song from the Gold record from the Bouncing Souls.
I'm not going to disagree with that choice, but it wouldn't be my Bouncing Souls song.
You had another Bouncing Souls song.
Yeah, it's not in my top 5, but I would have that song as the greatest Bouncing Souls track 1.
What? I did a stupid then. I thought, what song? That song.
Yeah.
That song. I need to do a quick check, because I need to double check. Because I just don't know albums. That's my problem.
I think with the Gold record, it's the fact that Lean on Sheena is so good that I don't care what comes before it.
Right, yeah.
Not knocking your choice, Colin, but
no, you're wrong. I think of the bottle smashing at the start, and then it's just pure like Bouncing Souls energy from the start, and then the rest of that album kind of slows down a bit. But I like when the Bouncing Souls are really like going for it. That's why it's probably my favorite off that album, and I think it is the best song on that album. And
he's still so cool on stage, just being like, yeah.
He just floats. Yeah. Floats like a butterfly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing him at the Underworld. Yeah, the guy's got the weirdest stage presence of probably any band I've seen.
He's great though. I love him.
He's just like Jack Grealish in the flesh.
It's not like, because I saw them really early on. I saw them open for Green Day on the Warning Tour in 2000, and I thought I'd never heard of Bouncing Souls, and then they played whatever song is on Punkorama 3, Say Anything. Is it Say Anything? I'm going to assume it is. And I was like, oh, I do know this band. They're on Punkorama 3. And even then I was like, it looks like he's not putting any effort in. And that was kind of disappointing. But then once you understand it, it's like, no, he's just fucking cool, isn't he?
I always find when I see the Bouncing Souls live, they're either amazing or a bit meh.
I agree. I've seen them be not so good, but I've seen them be the greatest band on the planet.
Yeah.
And I've seen that band a lot. And I will continue to see them a lot.
Isn't Hopeless Romantic a track 1 as well, though?
Yeah, it might be, actually, yeah.
I'm not big into that record, though.
Like, it's one of my favourite Bouncing Souls songs. And I literally just had to check, just in case it was number 1. I was like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've had to do that with so many on my list.
Like, I had to research albums.
I had to cross one off because it's not track 1 on the album that it was on, but it was a track 1 on a best of. So I got confused by that.
What one is that?
Oh,
I didn't know we could do greatest hits.
Oh, it's not. It's not. I've just crossed it off. But so Zoom is telling me that we're running out of time again. How long have we been talking, Christ? So
long.
we'll wrap this up and we'll do a part 3, I guess, to finish this off.
Yeah.
Part 3.
Nice little 30-minute segments.
Yeah, and we'll think of another advert. What's happening at New Cross?
Well, yesterday, Colin, we announced a seated, socially distanced, COVID-friendly gig for the JB Conspiracy.
Oh.
Who will be supported by my favourite band, 3dBs Down. So that'll be very nice. It'll be sold out by the time this gets released, but what can you do? That'll be our first post-lockdown show, assuming it ends when we're told it's going to end.
Vaccines for everyone.
Vaccines all around. Yeah.
Me first, because I'm allegedly a key worker. Ha ha!
Oh, hooray for you. Thanks for your service, Colin.
I collect those trolleys well. Right, okay, this is the end of part 2. We'll see you again for part 3. Right, welcome back to part 3 of the Colin's Punk Rock World podcast, because Zoom is a dickhead. We're continuing with our track 1s. It's now Mike's turn to go.
I want to go with a curveball. I want to go with more Canadians, with Billy Talent and Billy Talent 2, Devil in a Midnight Mass.
Yes, banger.
Because that riff could end all riffs. Like, I think that opening is just, if you want a song to get you ready for their album, it's that song. And live, incredible. Recorded, incredible. And I was like, you know what? I don't think anyone else is going to put this on their list. So I am.
I'll back that all the way.
I have never.
I got into them when, like the mid-2000s, when Slam Dunk started and Screamo when that was kicking off. And I went to give it a name at, I think it was Earl's Court this year, headlined by, what's Jared Leto's band?
30 Seconds to Mars.
30 Seconds to Mars headlined. Billy Talent played, Anti-Flag played, and a few others. But Billy Talent, like, I knew very little about them before I saw them, and they blew my socks off. And yeah, the first and the second album are both perfect. So excellent shout.
I've never listened to that band.
I don't think they're rated as. They should be rated higher in punk rock circles, in my opinion.
I think my thing was, I think I always got them confused with Biffy Clyro, and
yeah.
I mean, they're not. I know they're not really similar sounding bands, but just Biffy and Billy.
Yeah, I think that's literally. I can see that, but also Biffy, also very underrated in the non-mainstream crowds. I just want to put that out there. But I saw Billy Talent open main stage Reading 2010.
Yeah,
I think they opened on the Friday as well, so they were like the first band playing at midday.
And I believe they also did a lock-up set later on.
If they did, I didn't see it.
Yeah, I think I know that thing.
NoFX did 2 sets that year, but
Yeah.
I don't remember Billy Talent doing 2.
Might be wrong. But yeah.
But like, yeah, playing that early on the Friday, and like, do you remember like the first time that you go to a football match at a proper stadium, and the first time you see a proper floodlit pitch? I had that sort of feeling seeing my first proper
get the tingles
big band play at a festival. Like,
in front of 100,000 people. Yeah,
and it was Billy Talent, and I was just like, this is incredible, and like massively underrated band, criminally underrated.
I will listen to them.
I'll disagree.
I'll send you some tracks and be like,
oh, I know, Devil in a Midnight something.
Devil in a Midnight Mass.
Thanks.
But like the weirdest vocals, very strange vocals, but like
it's got a unique voice.
Yeah, screechy, some would say.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
No, it works.
Like
it
my
works
kind of thing, to be fair.
And like some of the best guitar playing you'll see, like I think they've only got one guitarist, and it's super. It's technical, it's weird, it's different, and it's underrated.
They do the business live as well, like despite all the production on the album and that.
Yeah, for sure. Who's next?
Right, Paul.
I'll go for saying I say an obvious band, but it took me a while to decide on what album I was going to pick. And sorry if this is on your list, Colin, but I have gone for NoFX Separation of Church and State.
That is on my list.
At the very last minute, I changed from Linoleum because I think Church and Skate is a better song, and also because the album was like Warrenerism was so anticipated for me, like being the age I was. When did that come out? 03?
Around then, yeah.
So I was like 19, and it was like new NoFX albums coming out. Please be good. And then Separation of Church and Skate, first song, like talking about punch in the face.
Yeah.
There you go. Like just out the blocks. So it was tough to choose between that and the Lolium, but I'm not going to do the cool thing and go for the old album that came out when I was 10. I'm going to go for something that come out in my lifetime, so to speak. My punk rock lifetime.
See that? I think we've spoken about this loads, but that's my favourite NoFX album, War and Errorism. I don't know if
it's
that's
not my favourite. There's songs on there that I don't like, so I don't think it probably. But then NoFX for me, they've got a lot of songs I don't like on every album, but a lot of songs I love. So for me, I would just make a 50-song NoFX playlist, and that's my favourite NoFX album.
Yeah. See, I think my favourite NoFX album is their best of, because that's got all the good songs on.
Yeah.
Because that, when I said earlier, like, because I was going to pick Dinosaurs Will Die, because that's track 1 on the best of, but it's like track 4 on the album it's on.
We're better than having best ofs on our lists here.
Oh, yeah.
We're better than that.
If we do something, we do it properly. That's why I didn't put the Decline on it as well, because that's technically a track 1.
Good shout. Yeah.
All right, so NoFX Separation of Church and Skate. The thing that song a bit is ruined a bit now though, because of the line "When did punk become so safe?" That's just now whenever something happens like dramatic or like someone gets offended, the proper punks just bring out that line and it just irritates me now.
But like if you've been looking at Fat Mike's Instagram during all this, like he was slamming people down. Why are you wearing a mask? I thought you was punk rock. It's like I don't want people to die. Shut up. But yeah, I mean, NoFX, great band. NoFX fans, mostly terrible people.
I've not enjoyed a NoFX gig
for a long time. Yeah, I remember the last one we was at. You had the worst time.
Yeah, that was Brixton, wasn't it? Yeah, I can remember like being like, oh. But at Slam Dunk last year, I thought they were really, really good. They seemed to
really enjoyed them at Slam Dunk.
Like Emma, who I'll comfortably say dislikes NoFX, and she enjoyed it. She wasn't like, "Oh, can we go now?" So
see them on their day, and they're the greatest live band on the planet. But unfortunately, that day happens once every 3 years.
Yeah.
Every 3 or 4 tours, you might get them on a day where they can be fucked.
Was you at the Boomtown, Mike?
Yes.
NoFX Boomtown. When
that was quite the day for me. Yeah.
When because like Toby, our friend Toby, for people that are listening, he thinks it's his favourite NoFX set ever because they went in with, look at this hippie fest. We don't give a fuck. Let's insult everyone. If you know NoFX, it's like, that's what we want from NoFX. But they made no new fans there.
I believe at one point he said that Boomtown looked like a rubbish Disneyland because like it was on like the main stage where it's like, you know, all
the town centre, wasn't it?
Yeah, the town centre with the fake buildings that look like you're in the
job centre and the post office and that.
A Wild West film, just all the cardboard buildings around it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I think it was before they even played a song. Like NoFX do that thing where they come out and they just chat for 10 minutes. And you're just like, oh, this just looks like a terrible Disneyland.
Yeah, they're just like, look at the crowd being like, they're not here for us. They're here because MDMA.
And not wrong, but yeah, NoFX are a weird one. Like, I don't think they have one album that's good from start to finish.
They're Marmite.
But they have very good songs.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I can see that.
Okay, that's my last one. I think we are only doing 5, aren't we? Because otherwise we're going to be here all week.
Yes.
And we keep getting cut off, so.
That's true.
What shall I go for on my list? I'll go for one I don't think Paul have. Okay, so I'm going for Sponge, which might be a bit of an out there one, or from Pedigree Chump. So I'm not saying Kicking Pigeons because that's not track 1. This isn't track 1 either, but intro's track 1, so this is track 2, but it counts. I'm going for Lyrical Content, which is one of my favourite Sponge songs. and it's like completely underrated just because Kicking Pigeons is on that album, and that's obviously the Sponge song.
Yeah.
The Sponge song, yeah.
But I think that just because that's Sponge's first album as well, so that's the lyrical content. I think just really, really sets up everything you need to know about Sponge.
Can't disagree. I mean, I would. If again, I'm just like looking at your suggestions and then choosing a completely different album by the same band. I'd have "Live Another Day" off of "Room for Abuse" as my Sponge song, but that's more of a personal thing. So I'll just leave that there. But yeah, lyrical content, you can't knock it. Like it's a great tune.
If you want a song that just sums up what the album / the band are going to be, which is what I think a track one should probably
Definitely,
do.
yeah.
It should be. You never know you never know who's listening to your band for the first time. So track one on every album should always be an introduction to your band.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why like intro tracks and stuff are always like, I've got a massive list of tracks that are track two. And I was just like, oh, this is actually all much better.
I don't know how much time you do spend like on Bandcamp, like on the Bandcamp discovery thing, but it's one of my biggest like annoyances is when I'm on there, and you could obviously the band you can pick your feature track. And when you're on the Discover, that's the one you play. So many bands have like their intro for their album. I haven't bothered to change it. It's just the most like, why would you do this?
Not to digress, but what's with bonus tracks on Spotify ruining my playlists?
Yes.
I've got like
minutes of silence.
Two that spring to mind is Catch-22, 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 is like 15 minutes long, and also 5 Iron Frenzy, Every New Day, which is probably one of the most perfect ska songs ever written. Hardcore Christian connotations aside, it's a great ska song, but again, it's like 15 minutes long. Never going on any playlist. But yeah, that annoys me.
It's almost like they weren't thinking about the Spotify playlists.
Yeah.
I know, right? With albums released in the 90s, who thought?
And RX Bandits Infection has got like a really, really long outro, which isn't really part of the song. That's my favorite RX Bandit song, and I put that on a playlist. And I couldn't not put it on because the playlist was like my greatest songs ever, and it just every time it comes in, I have to skip the end because it's just really long and sort of atmospheric prog weird stuff. Sponge, lyrical content. Mike.
Good shout.
Okay, because you stole the Menzingers off me, I'm going to go with one purely from the heart, which is Breaking Rad by Jukebox Romantics from
Sleepwalking. New York friends.
my best buddies, who I miss so dearly, and we're supposed to be seeing in Florida this weekend. Like, don't get me wrong, the track standalone, I love it. I think it's a great track. But seeing that every night live on tour with those guys, for me, it'll hold a very special place in my heart. And super big Bouncing Souls fans, like, they love it. Like, they used to do their We're the Jukebox Romantics, You're Just Jukebox. Like, you gotta love it. But yeah, for me, just it means a lot, that song. I just think it's a great opener. It's just breakneck. You got the good vocal harmonies and the bass solo in there, and it's fried gold.
I saw a Jukebox at Booze Cruise last year. They were doing an Alkaline Trio cover set, and during that they played True Believers. They like the Bouncing Souls that much. Yeah,
they'll just crowbar it in on that tour. Just to digress slightly, our last show was in Newport, and I believe we had a grand total of 0 paying people to see a band from New York, a band from London, and then I believe the support band were South Wales, but definitely out of town. And the promoter just didn't bother putting anyone on the door in the end, and so I think like 2 people wandered in. And Jukebox were playing Hamburg at Booze Cruise like 2 days later. So they're like, oh, let's just do an Alk Trio cover set. And they just practiced their Alk Trio cover set instead. And it was fucking great.
It was great.
But right up until our good friend Bobby he'd had a drink or 2. And then at one point just forgot to sing. And that's when Norm on drums just decided that was the end of the set. He just put his sticks down and was like, cheers everyone. And that was the end of the UK tour. And It was the best time. It was so funny. I don't
Why bands still tour the UK is sometimes beyond me. It's like
why bands.
you want to just do I think Mike's frozen.
Tour with Sunday.
What?
I thought you froze.
No, it's definitely you.
Are we back?
Me and Colin are fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
You're just there, like it's like a photo of you just smiling happily.
Oh no, you moved. You're back. I think. No, you stopped again. Or are you just playing?
I think that's it. That's it. Better. It's better.
Are we good? Cool. I had a sign saying that my internet was unstable. So, oh, thank you.
Oh, that'll be that then.
Oh, this is going so well today.
Still more professional than my podcast.
That's true.
Right, we'll go as Paul's last song then.
All right, I've got 2 left, and I've thought about it while you two have been talking. And if I was in a plane that was going down, I'm going to go with the one that I'd put on out of these 2 songs, and that is "I'll Tell You But" by Anti-Flag, off of that album. I didn't write down the album names, but the obvious album, the mainstream release.
Oh, the one with Press Corps on.
That one.
Ah, what's that called?
I can't believe you didn't write the album name down. What is this? Amateur hour.
What's it called though? This is going to annoy me and Colin because we both listen to this album on the weekly.
Well, I won't go that far. I mean, I had Turncoat on my list rather than this one, but
I'll tell you, but it's the anticipation thing, because I think this was the album after the Turncoat album.
Yeah.
Blanking on all their album names right now.
You're thinking of For Blood and Empire.
For Blood and Empire, yeah. So it was released on Sony MCA, I think, rather than like a Fat Wreck or an indie or whatever. And it was like, I don't care about selling out. Like, bands are more than welcome to go and make their riches because they're allowed to, as long as the music doesn't suffer. And then got that album, and the first track, again, what a punch in the face. And then Press Corps tracks, like, it's the greatest 1-2 open to an album possibly of all time. So for that reason, I'll Tell You But is my 5th pick.
Yeah, but on Terror State, you've got Turncoat into Rank and File, and I would say that that's a much better one.
Press Corps is better than Rank and File. Again, baseline alone.
I'd agree with Mike on this one.
The Press Corps baseline though, it's all over the shop. I need to listen to more. I'm gonna learn bass for the rest of this lockdown, because I keep banging on about bass. It's how hard can it be?
I've been waiting for 12 years for you to learn drums. Can you do that first?
Nah.
Yeah, fair enough.
Right.
No,
So what is the top opening? We'll go over top 3. Like, out of this list we've got here. Can you remember the list?
I've only got mine written down because everyone else's opinion is just invalid.
I'd probably say, like, if I was voting for someone else's, I'd say Asphalt by Crazy Arm.
Fair.
Because I'm kind of that. I didn't think of that.
Like, it's always up there for me. It's always on my list. I'm amazed that no Green Day made the list.
Burnout was close. Burnout was close for me.
Like, I'd assume you would have done Burnout. I also thought that, to be fair, no Offspring on there either. I saw that was on your playlist. Half Truism was on there for you.
Half Truism, again, anticipation reasons. I can't believe how good that album was. But also, like, I mean, if this was a mainstream thing and we'd have like Teen Spirit, something by the Beatles, American Idiot would have to have a shout. Just for, like,
I was thinking
the cultural impacts alone.
Yeah.
Because that was American Idiot came out quite a while after Warning. And like Green Day had
4 years. Yeah. 4 years.
But that American Idiot, I think, opened up Green Day to a whole new world of fans. So that has to be a contender.
When 21st Century Breakdown come out, I was in an HMV and I heard someone refer to it as Green Day's second album.
Wow.
And I was like, is this what we've become? Is this what the world is now? I wanted to, but also I'm not going to go and be like, look, shut up, buy Kaplunk, because they probably hate Kaplunk, and I'm ruined Green Day for them. So I'll just leave it. People can do what they want, even though they're wrong.
People can't be wrong. Right, I think I'm going to pick. I think either Prisoner of Society or Proud.
To be fair, like Have Nots and Proud is a shout. I'd go for that one.
You can't put a Riz of Paper between them two.
I mean, they're both Paul picks, but Paul, I feel like, has put a lot more work into this than us.
I'll send you my 40-track playlist after this, so you can see what was on the shortlist. It's frozen again. Oh, it's back.
The South London internet. Ugh.
My internet's definitely going again, isn't it?
What's wrong with Penge Towers? All right, shall we? So can we say Proud is the number one opening song?
Let's stick Proud on there.
I feel like this is a very controversial opinion for the world of punk, but cool.
I'd probably, out of Colin's one, so we'll get one each, I'd probably stick Menzingers in, because they were kind of like the leaders of the gruff punk genre, if you will. It's like, out of Menzingers, we all discovered Pew 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 and the copyrights and Dear Landlords and all that. So I'd probably have Menzingers in there for the influential reasons.
They're good at a first song as well, like Telling Lies off After Spanish the Party.
Yeah.
And
even
that
live,
was on my list. That was on my short list.
Every time you see them live, whatever they open with, it sets you up for the night very nicely.
Guess that can be number two.
The first time I saw the Menzingers was the first time I met Leo from the Overjoyed, and then 6 months later we went on tour in Greece. So Menzingers, stick on the list for that. They knew what they were doing.
We could do a whole different sub one on like mates bands kind of thing, because it's like you saw on my shortlist, I had Habits and Problems by Errol Sellers, which is a great opener, and Officer Problem, T. Allen, and Circles, Clay Pigeon. That we could go on.
We could. We shouldn't, because this is
not.
already 3 parts. I'm
moving
already
swiftly on.
Where's me a bit of paper there? Because the thing we had where it said our Spotify stats to see what we'll just skip that because this has been going on forever now. We'll save your embarrassment there.
Because I listen to too much trance.
Yeah, and we'll go on to some more embarrassment for you. We've got the next lines round, the second part of our quiz.
I'm not excited for this.
I'm predicting 0 points.
I worked hard on this, ish. I spent at least 15 minutes.
Unless I hope one of them is Lately.
No, they're all bands who have played New Cross in the last couple of years. Your friends would probably...
That makes it worse.
All of them, I would suggest.
Yeah, that makes it worse.
Yeah.
That makes it personally embarrassing rather than just generally.
There's going to be a Triple Sunday story there that you won't get, Mike.
I've never listened to us.
All right, we'll go with... okay, we've got 10. Are you competing? Have you got noises to...
I'm sure. Can we explain the rules and the game? Because I don't actually know.
All right, well, I'm going to say a line. I forget you're young. You probably never watched Nevermind the Buzzcocks, did you? And then...
I'm not a child, Colin.
But Mike's more Simon Amstel than Mark Lamar.
Fair enough.
Right, that is true. I'll take that, yeah.
All right, so I say a line of a song, and then you have to guess the next line, basically.
Oh, God. Okay.
Pretty simple.
Can we get half points for bands?
Or raise hands.
Yeah, and the raising hands doesn't work for the audio aspect of this.
Just
say your name.
I downloaded that buzzer app you sent us. Yeah.
Could just say Paul or Mike
merrily.
or...
All right.
I'm going to shout your name out just to confuse everyone.
Yeah.
All right,
okay,
then.
Let's go.
Okay, okay.
4 bits in now, so...
All right, why must I be so miserable? This is an easy one.
Right, well, so it's Goodbye Blue Monday.
Yeah.
What is the next line?
That's the game.
I don't know that next line.
I listened to the song so many times.
I think every single guess from me is just going to be burnt tapes until I eventually...
Why must I be so miserable? Why?
Yeah.
Why is misery and I so inseparable?
Why are misery and I inseparable? Close enough.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
We're taking it. We'll give Paul a point for that. Well done. Oh, Mike's frozen again or taking a very long swig. Okay, the next one we'll do this one. B sharp, let me say this bluntly.
Oh, nobody does this any more humbly. Call me Malcolm.
Yeah. This might...
something very more humbly.
Yeah, the song's about you guys. I think Paul got there first. What we got? If those were your glory days.
I'm going to blame my internet.
Did you hear that one, Mike?
Did you hear it?
If those were your glory days, you must be saying shitty now.
Yeah, you must be a real shitty now.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I was going
That's
to go with I'm glad I wasn't around.
Oh, I've got it written down.
I think both are correct. All right, I'll let Mike have
I'll
one.
let Mike have it. Okay,
But
this
yeah,
one.
pew.
Can we have a
This one, there is a million
let's
answers.
go VAR check?
Okay, the line is pull.
Oh, fuck's sake. I'm not playing anymore.
I genuinely want Paul to answer this. So, Paul's.
I'm going to go for the one. I'm going to go for the one that might benefit me down the line. Is he loves a snake bite? Everyone buy him one.
Yeah, that'll do. I mean, I just went for the first line in the song, which was he's kind of cool, but that also works. That's Bald Head and the Dreads.
Bald Head and the Dreads, yeah.
New EP coming out in November.
On Bartlett's label, I saw.
On Bartlett's label, yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Kerrang.
What a guy.
Right, yeah. Okay, the next one, it's just one word. So
What?
Kerrang.
Kerrang?
Yeah. We've spoken about this song today.
Kerrang?
We have.
As in the magazine?
Yeah.
Or the online publication? I don't know.
Both. Hey. It's going awfully right now. Can we have a clue?
They played Do It Together Fest.
Oh.
I mean, looking at this list, they all played Do It Together Fest apart from one band. That maybe doesn't help, but they are legends in the field.
Which field in particular?
The ska punk field.
The ska punk field. So it'll be Lightyear.
Correct.
Because I know they like to talk about, pop culture and that. But also Lightyear are a band, all due respect to Chaz, I love them very much, but they're not one that I've really listened to the lyrics of. So I couldn't even tell you a song.
Okay, you would give up?
What was it, Twat Out of Hell?
It was Threat Out of Hell, yeah.
I couldn't tell you what the next line is.
You're a comic book.
Whoa, someone didn't get reviewed.
Ooh.
To be fair, I slag off Craig. It's a great length in our podcast.
I mean, I'm sure they deserve it. All right, we'll do another easy one, maybe. Okay. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like Just Say Nay to Me. Is the next line? Yeah.
Yes.
Like the lyrics.
I was going to pick a lyric from Kimuri, but that's a really, really long song.
I obviously I love Jack to bits, known him a very long time, but he's almost too good at songwriting, so he's too clever for me to even give his lyrics the time of day. It's like, give me those brass lines, mate.
Yeah, I want to be a dog in a rich family is the greatest line that I think any band has written in the last decade.
He's a very underrated songwriter, and he is absolutely wasted on me.
Okay. Right, we've got four more. We go. I can't sleep at night. My broken teeth are reminders.
Tapes.
It's Tapes. Oh, for fuck's sake.
This year's been a weird one, and it's not getting better.
Correct. We've got 10 minutes to wrap this up.
The sooner the better. I'm struggling.
All right, we've only got 3 left of these. Paul's got most of them. We'll go...
No one's counting, right? It's all for fun.
It was all for fun.
It's all for fun.
I don't have any prizes, no. But okay, the next one is I Just Smile.
Just eat defeat.
It's not.
Yep,
Oh.
Eat Defeat.
I couldn't tell you the next line.
Well, the next line is also I Just Smile. Trick
That's
one.
what I said. Yeah, beautiful. It's my internet. Yeah.
I went back. I went back to Lightyear with like Street Fighter 2. But all right.
Mike got one. All right, 2 left.
Yeah.
It's getting late and I've been driving too long.
Oh no!
My third leg. Yes.
Yeah.
Bam.
But what's the next
Where did you
line?
find?
What is the next line?
I literally had to listen to the song and work it out.
Yeah,
It's been getting late, and I've been driving too long. I mean, knowing Will's songwriting, the last line of the next to make the couplet is probably song or something.
No,
I don't know. I don't listen to our old band all that much, and we've not played a gig for a very long time.
I tried to blank it out, if anything.
it's I Just Wish That You Had Tagged Along. My third leg. Going for a drive.
There you go.
It is our best song, to be fair.
I disagree. I hate that song.
Right, last one. Then I start getting confused.
Ooh. Gonna need to.
You what?
Are you on Talk or something? I will say
Mike
I
is
don't.
frozen.
I'm so frozen. You know, it's 4 o'clock. The internet's gone.
I've got nothing. I've got no idea of
I can
band
hear-
or song.
Here's a Triple Sunday song.
I've got no idea. Oh shit!
You're getting sacked in the morning.
It's
Can you say it again?
Then I start getting confused. It's maybe one of your most popular songs as well.
Is it Unseen?
No.
Oh, that's my favourite Triple Sunday song.
Is it?
Everything's cool.
Here's Everything's Cool.
Yes!
But what's the line?
I don't sing. I don't know.
You
how to
stand
play
next to
drums.
Hassan.
Yeah, I don't play the drums either, and I can't do that.
It's okay. The line is like bippity boppity boo.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo. Of course it is.
Of course it is. Okay.
It's beautiful. It's Shakespearean, if anything.
Oh yeah, that's why I picked it. And thank you for putting your lyrics on Bandcamp. Much appreciated.
I can assure you it wasn't me. I don't know them.
Clearly. All right. Well,
I had a weird, with Triple Sunday there, I had a weird dream last night I'm going to tell you about because I remembered it when I was going for a walk earlier and it's really strange. For some reason, My Third Leg, our old band, and Triple Sunday, Mike's current band, were both supporting someone at Brixton Academy, and I turned up and forgot all my drum breakables, and I wandered around for ages trying to find Xandro to ask if I could borrow his cymbals and snare to play at Brixton Academy. And I woke up as soon as I found him because my body told me everything's fine now. You've got cymbals. What is that all about?
in the future, My Third Leg and Triple Sunday are clearly playing Brixton Academy. And to be careful, you just carry your cymbals around everywhere with you.
Yeah, I don't know whether I lost them a long time ago. I think I left them at Newcastle Inn after a gig and they never got seen again.
Fair play. Well, I think
It's a shame. It's a nice set of Sabians. But yeah, there you go. I dreamt about Xandro, which is fucking strange. I've not seen him for a year.
Me neither.
All right, so I think if anyone won out of that, it was potentially Paul, but I'm not sure anyone was really a winner other than the listeners.
Because
You've definitely got a couple of losers on. Don't worry about that.
All right, we've got 5 minutes to
I'm a
ask.
standard gentleman, so I'm going to concede because that's what good people do.
Yeah.
You know,
I know the big man's listening.
especially with dates of gigs, you know that I'll kick your ass at that any day.
You're like Rain Man.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got 3 questions to quickly get through in less than 5 minutes. So
Let's go.
Dan number 2 asks, why do you love Lightyear so much? And was there a moment that made you like them? When I say Dan number 2, I mean Dan from Tape It Shut.
Yeah, no, I figured it was Cliver.
Like that.
Dan.
I can't remember a particular moment. I was lucky enough to be at the Weasel Clan album launch, and I think that was when I realised that they are just the most fun people and the greatest bands. And it wasn't until I got older I realised that they were on point politically with what I believe in as well. And then when I started putting them on, I realised that they're like the nicest guys you could ever hope to deal with. And I'm sad they never become Real Big Fish Big. But I've always preferred them over Cap Down and all that business, just because there's something about them. It's just erratic. It's just mental. And I've never seen anything. The first time I saw Lightyear, I've never seen anything like it. So that's probably why.
Right, well, we'll skip my question for another day, but we've got one last question from Taj.
Of course we have.
Of course we have. We've got to squeeze it in. And she asks, who is the best brother?
Based on what?
This guy.
Age? Me. Because I'm older.
Musical ability? Me.
Yeah. Would agree. There's a lot of...
Internet connection? Not me.
Yeah. FIFA, you'll probably just about edge it. Purely because you play as...
football, currently
me.
That's just annoying. We play this every year and try really hard. Paul's just spawning in this year and winning.
I've got big plans for this weekend.
You say that every week.
Break, I've got time to sit down.
What about what about being a promoter? Because although you have the paperwork, you have the degree, I have the job. So it's also that.
That is true. The trick is to work with big companies, have a solid income, and then let them get rid of you the first week of furlough. I think that's the
it is mental to get a little bit, dare I say, political, that I work for a tiny little independent company and have a job, and you worked for a fairly big company with a degree in the relevant field and do not. You should go and start. Someone left Old Blue recently. Go start working for them.
I think I might. I think in my biggest event, the place I used to work at, I'm not going to mention names, in this calendar year, so I worked there, so if we started January, I left in, let's say, March, I think I took over £1 million worth in tickets. And
mental.
Got rid of all that stuff. Like, the gap between real music that we enjoy and the big dogs is horrendous, and there's only one group that's going to look after you. So let's all be friends forever.
Yeah, and we shall forever remain independent, because we got to, for the sake of literally everyone.
Right, cool. We have a minute left before we get chucked out again, so I'll quickly say thanks for doing this.
I've had a great time, Colin. Thank you very much.
Lovely to see you both. It's been far too long.
Hopefully real life soon.
Hopefully. January. Christ.
Yeah.
No, less than a minute. What can we plug in a minute?
Thank you for all the work that you do, Colin.
I
think we should plug you. I think we should plug you. We should plug Emma and your team.
Appreciate the relentless support you show us as B Sharp, and also Triple Sunday. Less so my third leg.
I love my third leg.
Let's never talk about it again.
Okay. Let's end nice and smooth.
Okay. Thanks for listening.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you soon. Love you both.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.